a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7:15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable! A home run for Gibson. And the Dodgers have won the game 5-4. I don't believe what I just saw.
There's a left back. I believe. The Giants from the pennant. 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 Bobby Thompson hits into the line back. On the left field. The Giants from the pennant. And they're going crazy.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run, and the Cardinals have won the game.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
This is WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC.
And here we go. Welcome to WHPC Sports Talk. I am your host, Michael Merlo. Alongside me, I've got Joshua Umahi, Matt Leonard, Elijah Blane, and Ross Levine. Guys, how are you doing on this very fine Monday afternoon, getting us in the spring feeling? I think it is officially spring.
It's officially spring, that's right.
So it's a perfect spring day.
Baseball's back. It feels good. I said that every day since it's been back, but I'm just grateful.
I'm at the point now, especially after watching a couple of spring training games for the past few days, I'm already impatient, and it's already been, it's only the first two games.
It's been a week.
And you usually get impatient by now, March, what is it, March 20th, 21st today. By this point, you're impatient already. You just want the season to start, and it's only one game, two games really, and I'm done. Give me the regular season.
I don't think the players are ready. I don't know if they'd agree with you. They don't want to start yet, but, we don't want to rush it. We saw what happened when we did that.
They've been practicing off-site for a while, though.
We don't want to rush this. I think it's better to wait so nobody gets hurt. You don't want DeGrom getting hurt again.
No, of course I agree with you. Like, they need their rest, but...
And you also need to see the prospects, too.
I don't know about that.
I don't really care about the prospects.
For me, I need to see the prospects, especially one.
Do you think any prospects will break camp, though? No. Any of the top guys? No.
But, get excited for the future.
But listen, we haven't had much of an offseason because of the lockout, and we've gotten that offseason for the past week and a half now where guys have been signing and trades have been made, and I was a little disappointed considering the hype it got. I mean, listen, no doubt about it, we've had a ton of trades, a ton of signings. It's been exciting, but I felt like right before the lockout where there was that deadline, I felt like there was a little more excitement, but over the weekend we did get a bunch of signings. We did get a couple of trades as well. And I do want to start with the New York Yankees, though, because a lot of, the big-time moves that were made over the weekend have something to do with the New York Yankees. And, of course, we appreciate your calls, 516-572-7440, about anything, really. But we're starting with Major League Baseball. And the New York Yankees, they made this trade last week now for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa and Josh Donaldson. They take on the $25 million for the next two seasons, so $50 million total. For the next two seasons on Josh Donaldson's contract. He's 36 years old. He plays third base. He's been injury prone a little bit. But I think something that completely changes almost the way we even talk and think about the Yankees is this move. And then what the Twins did with the money they saved from Josh Donaldson, and that's go sign Carlos Correa, who was considered the best free agent on the market. So essentially, the smaller market team said, we're going to try and offload this contract to the Yankees. And by the way, according to the Twins, the Yankees were the only team this offseason that were interested in taking Josh Donaldson's contract off their hands. Then go around, swing a signing for the best free agents available, Carlos Correa.
Yeah, honestly, the fact that the Yankees were the only team willing to take on the contract is that's kind of ridiculous if you think about it. I mean, the only team, that kind of tells that the other 29 other MLB teams we're like, yeah, no, we're not doing it. They see something too, and they probably see the decline. He's up there in age. You said it, he's injury prone. And you look at, just his, the average, it's not great. And they have enough of those guys already. I just question the mindset of bringing another guy when you already have enough of those power hitters / strikeout guys.
Do you know what? Donaldson is a little bit more contact than some of the power hitters that we have, but he's not great in the field at third base. He's getting up there in age. I'm sure Cashman has some advanced analytic stat to justify why we took on $25 million of his contract, but I'm not so mad at the Yankees missing out on Correa. I don't think what's his name? Cashman wanted him, Steinbrenner wanted him. But the thing that we're going to get to it later, but the thing that just gets me is why do we take up $25 million of an older player's contract and then our division rival turns around and then signs a shortstop that we were interested in, and he was interested in us, which is Trevor Story, yeah.
The question to me is, and the Yankees cannot be accused of not spending money. Their payroll is going to be, over $240 million, over the luxury tax. So you can't call them cheap. The only thing you could say is you spent this money, you go over the tax. What is your goal, and what are you signing? We thought we were going to be going over the tax with the New York Yankees, and they were going to bringing in guys like Corey Seager or Carlos Correa or Trevor Story.
I think Cashman said that our most important need was shortstop. Yeah,
he said shortstop. He said there was going to be a new shortstop here.
There is
a new shortstop.
Well, there is a new shortstop.
It's Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and it's not somebody we thought it was going to be, but I'm not going to kill him because I think Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is going to be a nice player.
Yeah, he's going to be fine.
But
he's not Carlos Correa.
He's not Carlos Correa, and you didn't make other moves to supplement the roster. It's just a confusing offseason for me. And I'm fine with bringing back Anthony Rizzo. He's a good player, and I think a full season at Yankee Stadium he'll have a nice year. But it's not Freddie Freeman, and this is what Yankee fans are fed up with. I understand you have Stanton on this roster, and I understand you have, a big contract in Garrett Cole on this roster. But this is the New York freaking Yankees,
and they want to re-sign Judge too.
And you have to re-sign Judge, but we didn't expect them to spend $25 million of this season on one aging player. We thought we'd be going out there and getting a younger player, a guy that fans wanted. I'm not saying you should listen to the fans, but we thought the move would be more exciting.
Yeah, it's very anticlimactic. They talked up this offseason like we're going to make a huge move, like a Correa or a Story, and then we just struck out on all of them.
Their huge move is going to be re-signing Aaron Judge.
Yeah, which is not bad.
That should happen.
Yeah.
That's got to happen. You have to re-sign him. You can't let this guy hit the open market.
Yeah.
Were the Yankees ever... Oh, sorry, Elijah.
Yeah.
Were the Yankees ever, entirely in on Correa, though?
Kind of. Not as much as other clubs were.
The thing that confuses me with Carlos Correa is that they weren't in, but they were listening, and they kept in contact. My biggest thing was, if you're keeping in contact with Carlos Correa, considering what you have in the farm system and what you're willing to spend, the reason why you're keeping in contact is for the exact reason why he signed with the Twins. You wanted him on a short-term deal. So I just don't understand why they make that move with the Twins, and then this guy a week later signs for a contract that you would have been willing to do.
They're having one great offseason in Minnesota. They shocked me this offseason.
But the thing about Minnesota is that their lineup is not bad at all, but they have no pitching whatsoever.
They have no pitching, and it's a weird offseason because they're a small market team.
It's just not their cycle right now in that division. The White Sox are far and away the better team right now.
And also the Twins are probably in their rebuild. I think they're kind of rebuilding the Twins. So that's why you were willing to unload the contract of Josh Donaldson. That's why I think it's shocking that Correa went to the Twins, because they were in a rebuild a little.
Do you know what?
They're still trying to win.
What they're going to do is they're going to try and add pitching, but if this isn't working out and Carlos Correa is raking, they're going to try and flip him at the deadline.
Wow.
And that's the only thing I can think of. They'll try and flip him at the deadline, get a ton of prospects. Although they're signaling that they're trying to add pitchers. They're in on Frankie Montas and Sean Manaea of the Oakland A's just as much as the Yankees are.
Even the White Sox are interested in those guys too,
and the Rangers,
and the Yankees. I think their final move is going to be another starting pitcher.
Yeah.
And if they lose out because they were, I'm going to say too cheap, not money-wise, but giving up prospects, if they lose him to a team like the Twins or a team like the White Sox, who you're directly competing with for an AL pennant this year, hopefully, you can't justify that to your fans, especially after the offseason you've had.
I mean, I think the Twins would be foolish to give up a good prospect for one of those starting pitchers because it's just not their time right now.
But like if
aggressive.
It doesn't matter if we think it's not their time. They believe it is, and they're going for it, and good for them. They have a good lineup. They need pitching. I don't want to spend too much time on the Minnesota Twins because I really don't care about them. I think this is an interesting move. It's a weird move, and if they ever play the Yankees, we know how the Yankees feel about playing that. But Yankee fans, 516-572-7440. What do you think of the offseason so far? Because now we're going to talk about your arch rival, and that is the Boston Red Sox, who did make a move and get Trevor Story on Sunday morning. 6 years, $140 million. Weird contract.
That was more than I thought he would get.
It's a little surprising.
I thought there'd be an opt-out after the first or second year, and there's not an opt-out until the fourth year. And the Red Sox can, do something where if he wants to opt out and they don't want him to opt out, they add an extra year to the contract. $20 million more, so it's a weird contract.
So they have to both agree to the opt-out, right? It's a mutual thing?
Exactly.
It's a mutual option, yeah.
It's basically a mutual option.
Okay.
And Yankee fans got to be asking themselves, why couldn't we get this guy? And I have the answer. I know why they didn't sign Trevor Story.
Why is that?
They signed DJ LeMahieu last season to a 5-year, 100, whatever it is, or 6-year. What is it, 110 or something?
It was a lot. Let me search it up.
Search it up. It's a 6-year, around $115 million. They signed him to that deal last offseason. And this is the story of the Yankees' lives right now. Because Giancarlo Stanton, who had a fantastic year last year.
It was 6 year 90.
6 years 90, so it's actually cheaper than
That's
I
pretty
thought.
good.
It's a good deal. He took years instead of money. But the Yankees, after they signed Giancarlo Stanton, he had an okay first year, okay second year. He was really good down the stretch last season.
Yeah, monster.
Clutch.
Yeah.
But it kind of feels like Bryce Harper was a better fit for the stadium and for the city in general.
It still hurts not getting him.
And they were a year away. If they would have just waited one more offseason, they could have had him. But instead, they traded for, and took on the contract of Giancarlo Stanton.
I mean...
Yeah.
They were a year away from these big moves if they would have just waited instead of giving up.
They've done things a year too early.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
Basically, what the Yankees have done. And look, DJ LeMahieu is a very good player. He's very good. He was very good in 2019. Pretty good in 2020.
He was carrying us in 2019, though.
He was one of the best in MVP voting. He was top 3. He was really good.
And now last season, this is one of my big points here today, really, about the Yankees, is that the New York Yankees, in this whole offseason they've had, they're bringing back players, a ton of players, that either down the stretch or just overall during the season were not very good. DJ LeMahieu didn't have a good season last year, and you're relying big time on a bounce-back year. Gleyber Torres, for most of the season last year, was not a good player. He was a major disappointment. Joey Gallo, since being traded to the Yankees, was not good.
Yeah, he was bad. He started out good, but the rest of it was bad.
And then Rizzo, same thing, got hot early and finished the year poorly.
Yep.
You're relying on a ton of these guys to have bounce-back seasons. And these guys are in your starting lineup.
I mean,
these guys are everyday players.
We got rid of Thames, and I think they think that we can fix it in-house, but we can't fix all of these players. I think DJ just needs to elevate the ball. Same thing with Gleyber. And Gleyber actually needs to get contact with the ball. He hasn't been doing that a lot. And Gallo, the same thing. I mean, he's going to be helped out a lot next year, but this year he still has to get hit against the shift. And
that shouldn't be an excuse.
Yeah.
You got to hit the ball, and you're a home run hitter, and you have a short porch out there in right field. You got to hit home runs, man.
That's what I was going to say, that there's no shift where guys stand and over the wall in the outfield.
Exactly.
So He's a home run hitter. The shift shouldn't matter. Hit him over everybody.
But Judge and Stanton, they hit doubles and they hit for contact better than Gallo.
Sure,
he's not a contact guy. That's fine. It's not who he is.
The Yankees didn't bring him over here, knowing the shift was going to be coming to play next year. They brought him over here to be a guy that gets on base at about a 400 clip, have an 850 OPS, and hit 30 to 40 home runs.
Yeah, but look, here's the thing though. These guys they signed like Rizzo and Gallo, and these players that they've signed, LeMahieu. How old are these guys?
They're older.
They're in their mid-30s, early 30s, right around there.
Gallo, I think, yeah.
But we can't. But
you don't get better with age.
But that's not an excuse. I understand, Ross, but that's not an excuse right now.
No, but it's not their fault. I'm just saying it just goes back to it's just a bad idea to sign guys here in their early 30s long-term deals. It doesn't make sense.
I agree with you. You could make the argument that the LeMahieu contract, might not work out.
I didn't mind that as much because I've seen him do well in New York. I've seen him be third MVP. Like, that's okay. But at the same time, he makes more sense because he's not a pure power hitter. He gets on base. He hits some doubles. The other guys, those guys don't get better with age. Like, just power guys. It's great to have it, but when you're hot, you're hot. You're cold, you're cold. And that's kind of what it is. I mean, look, even last season, and I know you can't take this away. You can't. If you take away that 46-game run that they had, where they were really good, they were like a 500 team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a streaky lineup. And Aaron Judge is an MVP-level player every season, but he's a streaky guy.
Yes.
And of course you take that, and of course you pay him. He's one of the best players in the league, and most guys aren't consistent, but the stars are, and Aaron Judge just isn't one of those stars. That's a very consistent ball player. He will go on runs where he's the best player in baseball,
yes,
and he may have a couple of stretches, a couple of weeks during the season where he's brutal, where he's has an 0 for 15 streak, but that's baseball.
But they walk him a lot too.
Yeah.
So you're just like, all right, we're not going to try to pitch after you. We're going to try to make somebody else beat us.
And when you're in a slump and they're pitching away from you and they want to walk you and you're chasing at bad pitches, it also gets worse. But again, that's baseball. And I'm just trying to bring up the point of him being a big-time power hitter. And same thing goes for Stanton. You go into slumps sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing with this team is if we gain consistency, then I feel like we have the best hitting lineup in Major League Baseball. Right now, if we...
I would say the Dodgers are much better.
Dodgers may be better, but yeah.
And I think we got a couple of lineups here. One in your division, the Toronto Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays are better. I think the Blue Jays offensively are better than what the Yankees can be. We saw it last season. We see it. I mean, if you saw a couple of the home runs I saw over the weekend of Vlad Guerrero Jr., I mean, oh my God, is this guy scary.
Yeah. He's got some serious power.
He's got some serious power, and he's a fantastic hitter.
Yep.
He hits 300. He'll hit 330. So
he walks too.
He's unbelievable. He's everything as advertised. And I remember saying, this guy's overrated. I mean, they were overrating him as a prospect.
But it's who his dad was.
No, he might be better.
I think he's better, yeah.
He legitimately may be better than his father. But anyway, let's talk about the Mets, who really haven't had much of the news cycle. Yeah. And
I'm okay with that.
It seems to be a good thing right now.
No injuries yet.
Thank God, no injuries. We'll knock on wood. But I also want to compare very quickly the Mets and the Yankees, how the Yankees are relying on guys to bounce back, and the Mets are too, but not in such a prominent role. The Mets would like Dom Smith to bounce back, and there's a report out there now he was playing with a torn labrum, but Dom Smith doesn't have a starting spot on this team right now.
I mean,
even DH thing.
But that's not how they have it penciled in. He's going to have to hit his way there.
Who's going to start DH on opening day?
Cano.
Wow.
Robbie Cano's going to start.
I hate that.
And Davis, you expect him to bounce back and be
lefties.
Healthy. He's on the bench. McNeil's the only guy that you're really, looking for that bounce back from, but you have guys to supplement in if he doesn't bounce back.
How about Lindor?
Lindor's a big-time guy you have to rely on a bounce back, but we saw it late in the season as he continued to get more comfortable in New York in the division. He got better.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at the team, I'm surprised Jay Davis is still on this team. I'm surprised Jeff McNeil's still on this team. I'm surprised. I thought they would find a trade partner for at least one of those guys at the bare minimum.
But they didn't.
What is Jeff McNeil's contract? It can't be a lot, right?
Contract arbitration.
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Yeah.
The Mets have guys here that if they do have better seasons than they did last, you have some fantastic bench pieces
But you just
and
said
a
if.
ton of options.
That's a big if.
But they're not starters. Only McNeil's a starter.
But isn't that a problem?
No.
How is that a
because
problem?
Their starters are set in stone almost.
And you have guys on the bench that you trust.
But those guys need to be in their roles.
Their role is on the bench, though.
Their role is bench players.
Yeah, if J.D. Davis, McNeil, and those guys, Dom Smith, were all starters, they're slated to be starters.
I'd be worried.
I'd be freaking out.
Yeah.
Also, let's remember something. J.D. Davis, when he was healthy last season, had a 1,000 OPS for this team.
He was great.
Got hit in the hand, came back too early, had unreported injuries, and went downhill when he came back. This guy's a professional hitter. He's a very good hitter. He just doesn't have a spot in the field. He's terrible defensively.
And Jeff McNeil too. Like I'm looking at his stats right now. Last year, and I was so hard on him last season because he just took such a step back. But last season was the only season he hit below 300.
Read me his OPS in 19 and 20.
Let me pull it.
He
up.
was great in the first half with doubles and triples, and the second half he had a lot of home runs.
Didn't he hit a home run till the second half or something last year, or close to it?
Something like that, yeah. But Jeff McNeil, 916 OPS 2019.
Nice.
836 in 2020.
In 2020, how many games did he play in 19?
19. He played a total of 113 games.
So that's
nice.
That's a nice season from Jeff McNeil. He has to be better. He has to be better
Than 916 OPS? Better, you think? Better than that?
No. I'm saying from 2020,
Oh, then
he has
yes,
to be
absolutely.
better. I mean,
Well, 2021 was worse than that.
You would like him to hit. Did I say 2020?
2020. Yeah.
I meant 2021. I still think we're in 2021. We have a caller on the air. Caller, where are you calling from? What's your name?
Sorry, wrong number.
Oh, you don't want to talk to us?
Wrong number.
I really want to have some fun with that.
I love when that happens.
I wish that lady that called from wherever she
England,
called
yeah.
from England, we should have left her on the line. We should have left
That was
her on the line. That
fantastic.
was amazing. But Jeff McNeil, he's going to have to be better than what he was in 2021. He had a 679 OPS.
Yeah,
It was terrible.
He was bad. He and I do think he was playing a little bit banged up as well. I mean,
Yes.
he was definitely injured. And look, I think him batting seventh wasn't good for him at the start of the year because remember Ross put him batting seventh. I think that ruined his confidence a little bit as well.
Ross is an idiot. I can't. I'm so glad he's gone.
I'm happy to have Buck here. We're very happy to have Buck Showalter running this team.
Yeah.
I'm way happier about Buck now than I was when they first hired him. I was a little skeptical at first, but now I've embraced him. I think he's going to do a good job.
Really? I love the hiring from the
beginning. I was worried because they brought in somebody old, and I was like,
I think I was the first one to say that they should have brought in Buck. On the show,
I need a proven guy on this team that knows how to handle New York media.
I agree with that.
Before.
I thought he was too, I thought at the time he was too old and it wasn't going to work. Now I see him with this team, and this is great.
Look at the White Sox with what's his name?
That's why I didn't like it.
Well, yeah, that's why he didn't like it. But he got through a full season
and won games.
Won the division.
That's because he had great talent. And he was like getting in legal trouble and all this stuff, and that was a mess.
But Buck Showalter is like he's not better, but he's more like with it than Larissa was.
He's steady. Yeah.
And by the way, I don't know if anybody watched the spring training game yesterday.
I did,
but they did. Steve Gelbs interviewed Buck Showalter, and we've seen this now from past interviews and even interviews he's done so far during spring training. He is so funny.
Yeah, he is
so entertaining.
Did you see the story about the monkey?
The story. I don't know the story about the monkey. Oh,
that
yes,
one's
I did.
good. Who was it? It was an Orioles player brought two monkeys to the Orioles camp. And then, like, a monkey through batting practice or something for some team talent show or whatever.
Yes.
And then animal services were called and a bunch of people got in trouble.
He was talking about also his time on Seinfeld and comparing it to Keith's time on Seinfeld. He's so funny. I really love this guy. But, we're going to have to talk about the Mets competition because the Phillies have added two major bats to their lineup. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little scared of the Phillies.
I kept saying this whole time, I'm not scared yet. I'm starting to get worried.
I'm scared.
I'm starting to get worried.
I said this before the Phillies made these moves. The Mets need to get a batter too. This is why now the Phillies are now they have a better lineup.
They have a better lineup than the Mets.
They have Harper, Castellanos, and Schwarber. That's a lot of power.
And
that's just the outfield.
Well, that's not the outfield. Schwarber's going to DH.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you forgot 3 guys.
Yeah.
You forgot Reese Hoskins, who had an 864 OPS last year, a very good offensive player. JT Realmuto, one of the best offensive catchers in baseball. And you want to add Gene Segura, who is if he's healthy, is a solid second baseman.
Yeah.
And
Alec Boehm is still young. He seems like a good hitter from what we saw at the end of last year.
Yeah, Boehm, he's terrible in the field.
I think he's
hitting wise though. I think he's coming along.
He's gonna have to come along. He's a big body.
He's streaky. The streaky hitter.
And Didi Gregorius was unbearable last year. He was terrible.
Yeah.
He had a negative WAR.
Maybe he'll bounce back a little bit. He's never going to be his old Yankee self ever.
Well, the stadium helped him out, but Philly's not bad for hitters either.
No,
it's not terrible.
This is a very good lineup, and I didn't even bring up the starting rotation, which might have the best one of the best 1-2 punches.
Not the best.
The Mets do, but one of the 3 best, maybe or 4 best 1-2 punches in all of baseball. Aaron Nola, who I expect to bounce back big time, and Zach Wheeler. And I completely forgot they have Kyle Gibson from Texas.
That's right.
They still have him. Zach Eflin got hurt last season.
Yeah.
He's a solid number 4. And Ranger Suarez bursted onto the scene. He could be the 5th starter. All of a sudden, the Phillies are a very formidable opponent in the National League East and probably should make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're going to make the wild card, I feel.
Who wins the division?
I think the Braves still on.
Yeah,
really?
I still say the
I still say the Braves.
Why?
We haven't mentioned yet that the Braves are still making moves.
The Braves are the one that scared me the most.
Really more than the Phillies?
Yes.
I agree with that.
Yeah, the Braves are scary.
The Braves just added Kenley Jansen to it. Already.
I'm not worried about him at all.
Every time we try to,
very overpaid.
Every time we try to count out Kenley Jansen, he still performs. Yeah.
I think he's extremely overpaid. 1 year, $16 million for any closer, unless you're Mariano Rivera in his prime, is crazy.
They have a good bullpen as long. Listen, it's streaky. Bullpens are streaky, and it's really tough to tell from year to year. It's a crapshoot every year. I've been saying that. So we don't know how the Mets bullpen's going to be. We don't know how the Phillies bullpen's going to be, which has been terrible. And we don't know how the Braves bullpen's going to perform after what was a great postseason run and late throughout the season as well.
I like their bullpen a lot. The guys they have there.
Well, on paper right now it looks good. I don't know if it's going to be.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it could all collapse when the season starts.
I agree. Their bullpen's very good, the Braves. My only thing, though, is the Phillies. Don't we see this a lot, though, in the past where they have really good lineups, but their defense just lets them back.
Their defense is terrible.
Yeah,
they might
bring that up.
They may be one of the worst defensive teams in all baseball this year.
Yeah, they're terrible defensively.
It's awful.
It's awful. I mean, they even made a couple of errors even today and against.
Yeah, I said it before. Like, what's his name? Hicks hit a double out to the outfield, and it was only a double because they couldn't field the ball.
That's going to be something to watch over there.
And I'm just going to bring up about the Mets point. I mean, if I had to ask you right now, if they don't make any other moves, which to me is bad that they don't want to make any more moves in the lineup.
They're not going to.
See, that's a problem, though.
I don't think so.
Where are they, Ross? Where would they put somebody?
Who's
With
out
the money
there
that
You
they
need a
spent?
better hitter.
Who's out there left that will be an improvement?
But where are you putting them? Where are you putting them?
I don't know. You try to get a second baseman.
They have McNeil.
Why?
They want McNeil there.
McNeil was terrible last season.
Doesn't matter. It's 1 year. The rest of his years have been a good track record for him.
And they have Cano, and then they can move. And if they want, they move Escobar over to second, and they put Davis at third.
Okay. Yeah,
that's what they're going to say.
Ross, it does make me nervous. I did want another bat like all offseason, but I can rest assured that we have probably the deepest pitching rotation, I think.
No
question.
You need to score runs.
I understand that, but we probably have like one of the best benches in the National League right now.
Yep.
If you look at it. Again, I did want another bat, and it does make me nervous, but I think they can score enough, and then you never know if the offense is struggling. Maybe give up a prospect, get somebody that comes available to trade them.
Where are you putting another bat?
And who are you getting? That's my question.
You signed Mark Canha to a $12 million a year, $15 million a year. He's in left. Marte, you spent big on it. I don't like that signing. Yeah. I've said that a few times now.
A little overpay. Yeah.
I don't like Marte, but he's better than what we had. He's a fine offensive player and steal bases.
Yeah.
You have Nimmo and Wright, who when he's healthy is a very good player. Alonso at first. We talked about second base. Lindor obviously at short. You can't do anything at catcher. And we talked about third base. Escobar's going to be there. But
Who's your catcher again?
James McCann and
Nido.
Tomas Nido. There's nothing
that's
you can do
fine.
at catcher right now.
Yeah, they can hold the fort until Alvarez comes up.
Yeah. There's no point in getting a big-time catcher with Alvarez looming in the minors. No point.
The reason why I'm bringing up the whole idea with getting a bat is because I just don't know how you can be confident with everybody bouncing back. I don't know how you can be confident in that.
Again, I'm confident in Lindor. What we saw last season at the end, if you take from June on, he had an 822 OPS. That's what he is, 16 home runs. That is what Francisco Lindor is. His first 2 months brought his stats down completely.
Yes.
He also got injured, and right before he got injured, he was starting to turn it on, and we saw it when he came back. He turned it on. I'm not too concerned about him. McNeil is somebody I'd be concerned about at second base, but that's really the only guy in the starting lineup we're, banking on a comeback from.
You don't think losing Baez doesn't hurt a little bit? It does. It does hurt.
It hurts a little bit.
We didn't have Baez here for long enough, and the team was already so banged up and so dysfunctional. I don't know how much that's going to hurt because this is a brand new team.
If you added Baez this offseason instead of the trade deadline, do you think the lineup is better this year?
Baez instead of who?
But no, if you add it
Baez to this lineup is currently constructed.
Yeah.
Where would you put him?
I guess second.
Yeah. I'd rather have McNeil.
You rather McNeil at second than Baez?
I'd rather McNeil at his best than Baez, yes.
Coming into this season, I'd rather have Baez.
Yeah.
I wanted Baez, yeah.
But I'm not unhappy they didn't sign him.
I think it's a waste of money because you have
it
McNeil.
hot in here or is it just me?
It's hot in here.
Yeah.
Why isn't this air conditioner not working? It's on 59 degrees.
Certainly hotter than that in here.
Oh, my God.
I think it was a mistake to try to salvage the season a little bit with Baez.
Yeah.
Trading for Baez. I think if you waited an offseason and got him when the ship is more stable, then I'd like the Mets a little bit more.
You guys act like their offense was good after they traded for him last season.
No, they weren't
There
at
was a
all.
point where he was the only player. Him and Lindor were the only two players. And Alonso.
But that's why, yeah.
But my point is that I don't know how you can be confident in a team. Where were they ranked offensively last year as a team?
Low 20s.
Okay, but how can you be confident that it's like be from 28 to like top 15?
Well, they're not saying
three new guys, three brand new pieces to the lineup. You added. You're hopeful that Lindor gets back to what he was in Cleveland.
I don't think he'll ever reach Cleveland level. I think he's going to be good.
Cleveland, why? His Cleveland level. We're not talking about him hitting 40 home runs.
He's 2 years removed.
950 OPS.
World Series level Lindor.
He is 2 years removed from being.
Do you know what those lineups? Do you know what those numbers were?
Let me see.
Look, Lindor.
I'm looking it up right now.
He was
2016.
Not good
Look it
in
up.
2020. I get it. It was a weird season. Last season wasn't good. He's had a couple of down years. My point is, I just don't know how you can be confident with everybody bouncing back. I don't know how you can
It's
be.
not
Only
everybody
one of them's a
bouncing
starter.
back.
They were 28th in baseball. They were 28th in baseball last
And
season.
they
Look who was on the field.
And they added 3 new players to the lineup. They're getting a full season, hopefully, of a solid Francisco Lindor.
Hopefully, you're hoping that.
Of course we
I'm
are.
not-
We don't know.
I
It's a lot
shouldn't
of
say
ifs.
hope. I'm not. I don't even know if it's an if at this point. I feel good about Francisco Lindor bouncing back. He's not one of my worries.
In
If
20
Brandon Nimmo's healthy, yes, and if that guy is healthy, he's a very good offensive player.
Look, and I do think Lindor is going to bounce back. Look, I remember last season. He had a very good spring training. It did not translate right away to the start of the season.
No, of course
Maybe
not.
this is counter opposite. He sucks in spring. He's really good in the season. You hope that's the case. My point is that you need these players. If your pitching's going to be good and the bullpen is shaky, you got to score runs. That's the key.
Yeah, in 2018, Lindor was 132 OPS plus. Last year he hit 101, so he was around average last year. The OPS plus. It's not impossible. It's not impossible that he gets back to Cleveland level.
He's gonna bounce back. I fully expect that to happen. If you look at June on, an 822 OPS, that's what he is. That's his career. Look up his career numbers. We got a caller on the line. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Dave from Marjorie Post Park.
What's up, Dave?
going on, guys? We're talking baseball here?
We're talking baseball here, but we can talk about whatever you want. We're about to move on to the NFL. And I know your Cowboys, can't do anything right now.
I'm not worried about that. Have you guys spoke about March Madness?
Not yet. What do you want to talk about there? I definitely want to get to that.
All right, if you don't mind. If you look at a lot of these teams, and you're going to call me crazy, and before I filled out my bracket, I should have really thought this through. You have UCLA, a Final Four team with 5 guys back from last year.
Yep.
You have Houston, a Final Four team with their whole team back from last year.
Yep.
Michigan, who didn't have a great year, but preseason they were third favorite in Vegas. Most of their team is back. Look at these teams that you have still standing. A lot of seniors that,
a lot of experience.
Villanova, all seniors. Look at them.
And I love Villanova right now. I think they're my pick right now.
Yeah, they're a machine.
I think Michigan's going to. The spread is about 4.5. I think Michigan gives them a very tough game.
You take Michigan with the spread there?
Ohio State, as bad as they did, they hung around.
They had they had a chance at the end, and I had them 4.5. Ohio State yesterday, or 5. That was brutal because, Dave, they were down 5, and they made 3 straight stops on defense and didn't score for 3 minutes.
Once that kid Young went out, it was a big loss for them.
Yeah.
They could have had the concussion. But that's a tough game. If Dickinson plays the way he's playing, they're going to give them trouble.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't believed in Michigan all year long at all. I thought they were overrated coming into this year.
I still think they're a little bit overrated, but they won games. They have won games.
Yeah.
Who's another team in the Dukies region? I know you're a Dukies fan.
I'm a Duke fan. That game is just calling Texas Tech.
Yep.
It's got to be Texas Tech.
Duke turns. If Bancaro can play like that, he's the best player in this whole tournament.
But do you think he does?
If he plays like Michigan State, there'll be a tough out. Can he do that against this number 1 defense? I don't know.
I like Texas Tech. What would be your Final Four right now out of the second chance bracket?
Now, I think Gonzaga's going down. I think the winner of Duke Texas Tech is going to win that.
Okay.
I'm going to go Houston.
All right. See, he's on my Houston bandwagon, and now I'm jumping off because of Villanova.
I have Arizona, but the way this is rolling right now, a Sweet 16 bracket, if you're doing one, I'm putting Houston in there.
Houston is beating Arizona outright.
Yeah.
I believe so. They're 2-point dogs. I believe so.
And what about the other region?
Kid from Arizona's coming back. That kid Kerr, that point guard. I don't know if he's been playing.
Right.
But yeah, Arizona. I think Kansas just walks to the Final Four.
Mm-hmm. So easy too. It almost seems too easy. They're gonna. Do you know the spread of the Providence Kansas game? Because they're gonna.
They're like Wayne.
What is it?
Like 8, 7.5.
I think they're gonna cover that. And I picked them. We both had them against Richmond.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Dave. Thank you for the call.
Yeah. UCLA also. Watch out for them, guys.
Yes, I know you like UCLA. Thank you for the call, Dave. I'm hitting next on accident. Yeah.
I have money on Houston, so we'll see.
I told you Houston.
I know. That's why I did it.
I know. And I
everything.
And I have money on them too. And I'm gonna probably hedge it because I'm gonna take Villanova.
Do you know what? TCU gave Arizona fits, and TCU is not a great program. Like Houston's much better than TCU right now.
Houston's gonna beat them, and I think they're gonna beat them like nicely. I think they're gonna
by 10.
Maybe not by 10, but they're going to win that game comfortably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. Houston. They're going to make a run at the Final Four, definitely.
Very good team.
Yeah.
Very good team. St. Peter's is a fantastic story. Shaheen Holloway, the head coach, he played at Seton Hall. I saw this stat a couple of days ago. The last time a New Jersey school went to the Sweet 16 was his Seton Hall team that he was a starting point guard on.
Wow. That's cool.
So he's a fantastic story. He did a couple interviews on Friday afternoon. He just seems like a great
I
guy.
love his mentality.
Right?
And you can see how it just transfers to the team. I love that. I love seeing stuff like that.
That underdog mentality. Yeah. He loves being an underdog, and I really hope they beat Purdue.
Look, I think Seton Hall wanted him for their head coach position.
I hope he doesn't leave.
I think he's going to have to leave because of the money. He's not getting paid a lot. That school is very small. An endowment of $36 million.
Yeah.
So I think he's getting paid less than like the assistant coaches at what's the school they beat? Kentucky?
Yes.
Yeah, he's getting paid less than that. Some like Big East school is going to call up and say, do you want to be our head coach? If they had any sense, St. John's would be a good fit. But,
that would be a good fit.
Yeah.
You're right. They really would.
They don't have any. That program is a joke.
What would your final four predictions be right now? I got mine. I'm going to go Texas Tech, UCLA, Villanova, and Kansas. And I've got UCLA and Villanova in the championship, and I would take Villanova to win.
I put down Purdue, Texas Tech, Villanova, and Kansas. I like Purdue a lot.
I like Purdue also. I was high on them coming in. I like Purdue.
I really hope St. Peter's beats them. They're not going to, but I really hope they do. Imagine the 15th seed.
I would love that. Wouldn't that be awesome? But I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
What about you, Josh?
All right, so I'm gonna go Villanova. I'm gonna go Houston.
They're in the. They can't. That's same bracket.
Oh, I'm tripping.
Yeah, I pick one of the two.
I'll go Kansas. I'm gonna go Kansas. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go Kansas, Villanova.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Arkansas.
I liked Arkansas coming into this tournament.
And I'm gonna go Purdue.
All right.
Jaden Ivey.
Yeah.
I am almost, if not identical to Josh. I have Purdue. I would pick Arkansas. I like them as a little sleeper team. I know they're the 4 seed, but they're a sleeper in where they are now.
All right.
To get into the Final Four. I like that. I like Houston a lot. And, yeah, Kansas has to be in.
They have no excuse. Ross, you got one?
It's probably the same as yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One team that wasn't mentioned, Gonzaga. No one's picking them.
They're getting bounced.
I don't believe in
They're
them.
getting bounced.
And they were my champion. They were my bracket championship
Arizona
prediction.
was my champion prediction.
Yeah.
And now I'm way off that bandwagon.
Listen, a lot of things change in the way they haven't looked good.
No.
They struggled with Georgia State, finally turned it on in the second half, and then they struggled with Memphis.
Yeah, I mean, Chet Holmgren's not playing his best basketball right now. I think someone else on the team.
Timmy's taking the lead.
Yeah.
That kid Timmy.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
Timmy's great.
Drew Timmy, though, on Gonzaga has been the star the whole time. Chet is like the
He's the
national
potential
name
guy.
that people know. Drew Timmy has been the best college basketball player probably this whole season. And he was, I think he won the award last season.
I still can't believe Michigan State didn't cover 6.5 yesterday.
That's a bad beat.
That's terrible.
And I really want Duke to lose. You know, I'm biased against them.
That's
I want
what
them to lose.
drove me crazy about it because I know Duke's a fraud.
Yeah.
I know it.
They're not good.
I know it in my heart.
They are going to get exposed by a really good Texas Tech team, I think, on Friday night. Texas Tech is very good, and they've been overlooked for a couple of years now. They did lose their head coach, Chris Beard, I think a year or two ago to Texas.
Yeah.
But
Texas got bounced too.
Texas got bounced yesterday, and I put a live bet on them. They were down they were down 3, and they were plus 255.
Who beat them? I forgot.
Purdue.
Purdue beat them.
They were down 3 points, plus 255. I'm saying it's 10 minutes to go in the second half. So I put $10 on them, and they lost.
Speaking of live bets.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, the Baylor Bears. all of that. They did all that. Came back from 20 after, what's his name? From UNC. Got ejected.
I forget the name.
Oh, no. But he got ejected. They come all the way back. I'm like, I'm going to win some money on this. Absolutely. I know. It was crumble in overtime.
I know a ton of people that took that live bet, and that's a Baylor UNC game we're talking about on Saturday afternoon. And UNC got hot at the end of the season, beat
Duke.
And they're still playing well, but I think they're running into an even hotter UCLA team.
Yep.
And I think UCLA is going to take them down. That game, to me, would be the one besides Houston and Arizona. That's the game I'm looking forward to the most.
While we're talking college basketball, I saw this post, I think it was SportsCenter, ESPN, one of those accounts on Instagram. You guys are going to feel old. How many years ago do you think it was since Jimmer Fredette scored 49 in the tournament?
Lord.
14 years.
You're actually too high.
I'm going to say 12?
11.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it was like 2010, 2011.
2011, yeah. I felt like, oh my God, that was so long ago. I was looking at the highlights. I'm like, wow.
I thought Jimmer Fredette was going to be a star.
Everyone did. Now he's playing like China.
Do you know what? People thought Jimmer Fredette was going to be like what Stephen Curry is right now.
I was convinced, bro. I was convinced.
Curry's game, the 40-point game at Davidson, I think was either on this day, yesterday, or today. Like 8 years ago or something. Maybe more. Like 10?
Steph Curry?
Yeah.
Way
for
more
Davidson.
than that.
No, it was like 8 or 10 years.
No way.
He was drafted in like 2009, I think.
Yeah, that was a while ago since he was at Davidson.
Yeah.
13 years ago, I believe.
Maybe it was after, before Jimmer Fredette then. Okay.
Yeah, he was before Jimmer Fredette.
Wow.
I'm
really old.
Speaking of the NBA, I forgot, I said this before, I forgot it was going on. The style of college basketball, the way they play and the difference is just so much more exciting.
I agree.
Than what the NBA is right now. The use of big men, and it's a shorter game, and there's just so much more excitement, and they're all moving around all the time. And the defense is so strong. College basketball is a much better watch right now than the NBA.
See, I would disagree with you, but I unfortunately am a Knicks fan. So
yeah, I'd much rather watch.
Not just the Knicks.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even want to take the worst of basketball. Let's take the best of the best in the NBA.
The Suns.
I would rather watch a college basketball game.
Really?
100%.
College basketball games end better than NBA games.
I'll give you that.
Absolutely.
But just the overall watch, I don't know. I just like pros playing basketball better. They know where to go better. They cut better. They pass better.
I think the quality of basketball in terms of skill is better in the NBA. Of course, they've trained for longer. They're more skilled. They're older. They're more skilled. Of course, but I think the beauty of college basketball is any team can win any night.
Yeah,
you don't see that in the NBA. The Knicks aren't beating the Suns.
No, they're not.
But I just also think it's a faster game. And there's more defense played, and they care about. They get to the basket, they go harder. Again, more defense and the use of the big man. I didn't realize how much you almost miss it, and it's every March we realize this. If you have an elite big man, you have an advantage sometimes, and if the other team doesn't, in the NBA, they want their big men to shoot.
I'll give you this. If you're a traditional, like, old school basketball fan or type of guy, you love college basketball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. With the NBA and the way the game's changed, and, they're flying up the court and just shooting threes everywhere.
Thanks, Steph Curry.
Like Steph Curry, I get it.
There's some nights where you like that, and there's some nights when you don't, and I'm not in love with it. I'm really not. It's not I guess it's not my style. I don't know. And I love 3-point shooting. I love Steph Curry for whatever reason. I'm just not into it.
Can I say
lack of defense?
A quick thing on the Knicks. I'm not going to go crazy, but why can't the New York Knicks, like any other team, why can't we just, when we lose, why can't we just lose in, like, regular fashion? Why do we have to, like, lose and then Randall goes off and tries to fight Rudy Gobert?
Because that's how this team is.
What are we doing?
Did he, after the game, there was a kid, giving high fives, reaching over, and apparently what I read this morning was that every player on the Knicks gave the kid a high five.
I saw this.
And Randall did not.
Wow.
It's the stupidest, smallest thing in the world, but you could just tell that this is a bad person, and you could tell from other things as well. He's just not a good human being, and you got to get him out.
So much for saying that, because people want to point to, maybe he's going through something or mental health. He's just an ass. Like, let's call it what it is.
He's just not a good person.
And the sad, the sad thing though is every team sees that and nobody's going to trade for him. That's why he's going to be on this team next.
Do you think he's trying to screw the Knicks? Not screw the Knicks, but screw them out of trading.
I think he wants to be gone. It's just that
I don't think so.
I think
realize trade value.
I think he's stupid enough that he may want to go, and he doesn't realize he's devaluing himself.
Yeah.
To the point where the Knicks aren't going to be able to trade him unless they just take anything.
My last thought. I can barely handle if Tibbs came back like he's reported to. I can't take Randall coming back. I can't.
I mean, I think it's. I don't want to say it's like guaranteed Tom's back, but I think it's pretty close that he's going to be back.
I think it's virtually a guarantee.
Yeah.
I think it's a guarantee too. Sadly, I mean,
well, again, they don't want to pay another coach while he's not coaching. That's really what it is, and he has 3 more years left of fully guaranteed money.
Yeah,
they do not want to go through this cycle again, and I think they've made it pretty clear about that. It doesn't make it the right decision or the wrong, but unfortunately, I know this seems like weird things to say about James Dolan, But I kind of agree in the sense that I really don't know who is the right guy. I'm kind of on Dolan's side with that one.
I don't believe Tibbs is the right guy. I mean, I'm more on board with him because, maybe you get another year with him, he can develop the young guys. Because that's the one thing he's done his whole career. He's developed young guys well.
And he's playing more young guys now, a little bit more, yeah.
I hate that it took till we were 10 games under 500 and out of it to do it, but whatever
Yeah, I think it's... Unfortunately, I think Randall's going to be back, and so is Tom.
Oh, my God. I literally might lose my mind.
It might be tough for them to trade Randall, but we're just going to have to see. You are listening to WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I am Michael Merlo, along with Joshua Umahi, Matt Leonard, Ross Levine, and Elijah Blane. I don't know why I went out of order there. I am sorry, but...
Tom does that, too. I don't know.
I know he does. I've noticed that. Very quickly, Matt Ryan has been traded to the Indianapolis Colts for a third-round pick.
Why? I get why, but, why?
They want They want a veteran quarterback.
They're a win-now team.
I don't hate Matt Ryan on this team.
He's not a bad... Listen, he's not a bad quarterback.
He's not bad. This is the equivalent to having Phillip Rivers when he's
No, but Phillip Rivers...
exact same thing.
Phillip Rivers was... Yeah.
They went to the playoffs and won 11 games and almost beat Buffalo and Buffalo, so...
By the way...
I don't hate that.
What did that say about Carson Wentz that Phillip Rivers' ghost could take the Colts to the playoffs, but he couldn't?
Well, apparently, there were some things that we didn't even know about inside the locker room that really ticked the Colts off.
With Wentz?
With Wentz, and he's just... I don't know even what it was, but they
were on Hard Knocks, and none of it came up.
It was almost like he was a cancer in the locker room.
Yeah.
They were like, we got to get this guy out.
That's two spots now.
Two spots where he was an issue.
Teams believe you're a type of cancer in that locker room at two different places. If one place is enough, but you get that second chance and you blow it again...
Yeah, he completely blew it. With a coach that he knows, and they have a relationship, and a good one.
He almost won his MVP with them.
He should have won MVP with them. So this is very concerning. So he's in Washington now. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
I wish we had a little more time for this. We'll probably touch on it tomorrow. But this Urban Meyer story is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
So apparently there was this situation where he didn't know a bunch of, big-time name stars in the NFL, including Deebo Samuel, Jamal Adams, and he's quoted saying, who is this 99 guy on LA? He seems like he's going to cause a bunch of problems for us. Well, that 99 guy just happens to be the best player in football, Aaron Donald. So there you go. That is unbelievable.
I saw this and I tweeted instantly. I'm wondering, is it possible to coach in the NFL and not know who Aaron Donald is? Is that actually possible? Can you be that bad at your job?
Urban Meyer is really just a bad guy. You want to talk about bad people?
Oh, man, yeah.
He was blaming other people for other mistakes. He would lie and say he didn't say this, didn't say that.
He kicked the kicker in the face.
He kicked the kicker. Said make your damn kicks make your effing kicks is what he really said. He was demeaning to coaches and players. He was unprofessional. Would threaten to fire coaches in front of players, threaten to cut players in front of coaches. Just a really, really bad guy. And we'll get into it more, I guess, tomorrow. He's just a terrible human being.
This might be the worst college/NFL coach in NFL history.
The only other contender is Bobby Petrino. Which one do you think is worse?
I mean,
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer.
It's not even close.
He didn't know who the best player in football was.
And honest to God, I loved this. I loved Urban Meyer to the Jaguars. This is my worst.
Did you really?
Yes, because I was a huge Urban Meyer guy in college.
Yeah,
and he obviously works in college.
But that stuff flies in college.
Yes, he could be.
He could be a jerk in college.
I really feel bad for a ton of his players.
Yeah,
I mean, holy crap, man! Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
I feel bad for them.
That's the thing with Urban Meyer. He's the type of personality. It works with college kids who are trying to prove something. But you have NFL in the NFL. You have grown men.
Yeah, they're not going to listen to you.
They're not going to buy into whatever narcissist stuff you got going on. No way.
It's one of those coaches in the NFL that was maybe a guy that had potential to be a decent NFL head coach, but never was a good guy for a group of men.
Because his head's too big for it.
Yeah,
I love how Ross lived in a group of men. That's just.
I wish we had more time for this because I do want to debate you guys. Whoever doesn't believe the Browns are a Super Bowl contender.
Oh, we'll have this debate at some point this week.
I would
Wednesday,
like to
if not
have
today.
it tomorrow or
Wednesday.
Or Wednesday very quickly. Deshaun Watson gets the most guaranteed money ever in the NFL, $230 million. And actually, he has the most guaranteed money in a 4-year stretch or 5-year stretch in all of sports, guaranteed $230 million. That's the most in all of sports for the next 5 years. But, obviously, he ruled them out. He ruled the Browns out. And it was almost free agency at that point when the Browns said, we will give you this contract if you, say okay to coming here. That's what happened. He gets the brand new contract. It's pretty crazy that you can deal with all of these issues and you get a raise and go where you want.
Like, Mike, I knew he had leverage. I didn't know he had $230 million worth of leverage. Not a chance.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And listen, this is a top 5 quarterback, possibly better when he's playing. It's just a matter of, is he going to be able to catch up? He hasn't played in a year, so it's going to be almost a year and a half, 2 years since he played when he first makes his next start.
Yeah.
I think this is the Super Bowl team as long as he's not suspended, and when he's not suspended, they're a Super Bowl team. This is a fantastic roster.
You have a better quarterback by far, and honestly, I really wonder now where does Baker Mayfield now end up, because it's not with the Browns.
A lot of teams that had needed quarterbacks filled the hole.
Yeah.
So
there's Carolina.
Do you think the Giants would even listen?
No. They shouldn't. They shouldn't.
For 1 year?
You have too much. You already have a question mark at quarterback.
Yeah.
And you signed Tyrod Taylor to an $8.5 million contract.
You wouldn't trade Daniel Jones?
No, absolutely
not.
I kind of know he's not the guy already.
Crazy.
I believe that Daniel Jones, even last season, is better than Baker Mayfield. I am under that.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm just amazed at the fact that this guy was a number 1 overall pick, 4 seasons ago?
Yeah.
And his stock, and a lot of it has to do with his own doing.
Yes.
But it's fallen so far that we're considering, the Giants will keep Daniel Jones over him, or the Seahawks will keep Drew Lock over Baker Mayfield.
You know what's interesting, and I bring this point up a lot with when Giant fans specifically kill Saquon Barkley, is that Saquon Barkley did not ask to be drafted number 2 overall.
He shouldn't have been drafted number 2.
He shouldn't have been, but it wasn't his fault, and he got put into a terrible situation. Baker Mayfield shouldn't have been the number 1 overall pick. We all know this.
He should have been.
But he's been in a good situation, and that's where he goes wrong. He can't complain. He's been in one of the best situations in the NFL with the Cleveland Browns over the last last 2 seasons. Great running game, great defense. A head coach, that has been very good offensively with them. So he doesn't have any excuses. But we got to stop getting cut, 3 minutes, 4 minutes short in the beginning of this show. Because I think we need more time.
I know.
Time's already
all the time
up.
we can get.
No, it's not your. It's not your fault. It's the people that have run their shows too late. Yeah, I'm calling people out.
The PSAs,
the PSAs
and all the dad jokes.
It's going to be an extra hour today anyway.
No, that's good. That's good. Thank you for listening to WHPC Sports Talk. For Joshua Umahi, Matt Leonard, Elijah Blane, and Ross Levine, I am Michael Merlo here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.